Hello and welcome back to Cosmic Connections podcast. I'm Starlene Breiter here with Fei Cochrane and Christopher Pridham. Today, we're going to be talking about the upcoming Cosmic Patterns Conference. The Cosmic Patterns Conference is an in-person conference that will be March 7 through 9, 2025. Fei Cochrane and her company, Cosmic Patterns, is hosting the conference, and Christopher and I are helping to organize it with her. So the next few videos that you'll see, the next several videos that you'll see from the Cosmic Connections podcast is going to feature different speakers that we're going to share with you, things that they're going to talk about at the conference, and just so you can get to know them as well. So welcome, you two. How are you both doing today?
Doing great. This is exciting.
Awesome. Yeah, it is exciting. I'm excited to, talk about the conference, get to know the different things that we're going to be doing at the conference, and also even speaking to the speakers that we're going to be having as well. So yeah. So one of the things that I did want to share too is where you can find us online. Obviously, you can see our names on the screen, but you can, I'll just say them as well. So Fei is found at astrologysoftware.com, and Christopher, you can find him at pridhamastrology.com. So you can find us on each other's website, and also you can find the cosmicpatternsconference.com website. That's where you can register to be part of the conference, and you join us there. So that'll be really exciting to be able to see you.
And for your website, it is starlenebreiter.com or SiriusAstrologySchool.com. That's Starlene's website. She forgot about herself.
Thanks, Fei. Yeah. So I figured what we could do today is talk a little bit about ourselves and how we're interacting with the conference and, that sort of thing. I thought that would be an interesting way to work this particular podcast. So I have some questions that I wrote down for both of you to ask you questions. And so Fei, this one is for you. So I'm really curious about your story and what drew you into astrology and what inspires you with astrology and motivates you into working with astrology.
Well, at a very young age, I was already drawn to astrology, the zodiac signs. All of my classmates, even at elementary school through high school, we were looking at the zodiac signs in the newspaper. And then I went to college, I went through the same thing. But then when I moved to Singapore and applied for a job at Cosmic Patterns, I didn't realize there's a real astrology. And it drew me more. And it says I can do research. And I love doing research because my degree is in the sciences. And I love working in a laboratory. So that's what drew me there. To this day, doing research using vibrational astrology is my love. I love doing it, and I'm going to continue doing it for the rest of my life so that this can be promoted to the community and we all benefit from it. And I will be sharing all of my findings with all of my teammates, with you, Starlene and Christopher, and other friends who will be joining us in doing research. I'm excited. Join us.
Yeah, it really is exciting. It's exciting. So tell us about some of the research projects that you've already worked through.
I did very, very fascinating because my family have a history of heart disease and breast cancer. I was so worried, especially the breast cancer. So I did the heart disease first. I got a really excellent result on that, which I will also do the hypothetical version of my extreme case sampling research. And exploratory research of it, but I need more data. And that is very, very fascinating. And the next one was the breast cancer research. Really, really excellent. A lot of people have been contacting me about it and really helping them a lot.
Very nice. So those are really big topics to look into. And yeah. And that's the thing I love about vibrational astrology is that we can look at the very nuanced things in a chart and understand how they're impacting people on different levels. So that's really great. I've seen both of those presentations when you first offered them, and I think they're fantastic to be able to share this kind of wisdom with people that are really going through serious, real problems and helping them. So that's really awesome.
I did the research of it. I lecture of it for the second time in Turkey, and people really, really were fascinated by it and was able to relate to it. And I will be doing the breast cancer again this October there. I'm sorry, the heart disease this October to present that as well. Really want people to get into doing research, which is what I'm using as vibrational astrology research. So I'm inviting everyone to come to the conference. I want to meet you. Let's all do research together.
Yeah, I love that too, because similar to your experience mine was like reading the horoscopes in the paper when I was a teenager and learning about astrology like that, not really understanding there was a bigger world within astrology, but that was, a long time ago. So as time unfolds and you start learning more, you start discovering there's something real and sincere about it. And that's what I love about VA. It's not for the lighthearted, but it's also, it can help people in immense ways. So that's really great. Yeah. So I'm curious, Christopher, let's talk to you for a minute. Let's first, Christopher is writing a book. So I'm so excited to hear about your book. I know we've talked about it before on the podcast, but I'm really excited to see your book. Tell us something about your book. What inspired you to write this book, to start this project? That is like the project from I don't know where. The hugest project.
So if I want to get down to what, why, within vibrational astrology, we've had, and, for those who don't know, Starlene and I were in one of the first classes for really what became vibrational astrology.
Right.
And when we started off, we were starting off with some of the very basic vibrations, which is 5, 7, 8, 9, 11. These were some of the base ones that we did. And we literally spent over a year just that alone. And that was very exciting. For me, it was it was much more thorough. I like things that have a depth to it and have a texture, and it's not so cookie cutter, I guess you would say. Like you have to kind of, you can get, and everybody knows this in astrology, it's okay, how detailed do you want? Well, I like a lot of detail. Okay. So I like a lot of detail. And you can do that just by working and working and working. But I would like to get detail fast. Okay. So I want to have fast ways. And so with vibrational astrology, we had all these lower vibrations. And then, as we know, we've been doing the research and we've extended it up into the 70s. Now, that is not every vibration from 1 up to like 77 or 78, but we were dealing with primes and everything. But, when you're looking at charts and you look to see what's the strongest vibration, you would find that, okay, we don't have an exact definition for that vibration, or we don't have a definition for this vibration. So, and we, there's the different things where you'll see all the way up to 360. And we had, we had about 50 or 40 something actually defined. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a bit.
And but okay. So that was sort of pissing me off. Because okay, you've got these, but you're looking at somebody and they have a 256 vibration that's really high.
Yeah, what is that?
Just guess what that means. Okay, that's what you just have to kind of guess or just ignore it. And so it bothered me a lot to ignore it. All right, that it bothered me. So that began I'm going to see if I can at least get a basic definition on the primes. And that's how it began, which was more than a year ago, to begin to look at these kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
And as things went on, I discovered patterns, I discovered different things, and I ended up figuring out how this thing kind of works. Okay. And so the book deals with that, and it literally defines all 360 vibrations. It gives 2 full pages of definition per vibration, tying it in with the Sabian symbols, tying it in with the tarot cards, tying it in with the decans of the signs, and all the signs tied in. So it's been very exciting. The book, in a sense, all the vibrations are all defined at this point. Now I'm going through doing a lot of editing. I'm doing a lot of continuing to test, because what I had done is, because we had already had about 50 plus defined, that was my first test, is the way I'm doing it, does it fit with what we already have? And it fit perfectly. So the definition were all tying in wonderfully. And it's like, okay, this is really good. This is good. So that's what the book will be. Now the book ends up opening up all new ways to use vibrational astrology, because again, we've only had so few defined before. We've only had about 50 vibrations defined. So, which again, it just limits the system, because the system needs 360. That's what we use. It probably needs more than that, but a 360 is nice. The reality is you could probably go to 720, most likely. Okay. And I would eventually see us getting there, but this is the next step. And I think that's the way vibrational astrology has gone. It just keeps advancing, because when Starlene and I were in class, the general thought was anything above 32 was very nuanced and light, and you weren't necessarily going to feel it. That was the thought, the theory. During the class, we ended up discovering that was not true, because we started going up to the higher vibrations and we were all resonating with them, not lightly. They ended up becoming sometimes stronger than the lower ones. Okay. So it's like, one of the beauties in vibrational astrology is that it continues to grow, and it will continue to grow. That's why Fei gets very excited about the different research that goes on, because there are so many avenues of growth for this. And so, at the conference, this will be kind of the rollout or the introduction of these definitions, the 360 definitions. And be more the rollout of the book by that time. So it'll already be in print by then. And then I'll do a presentation on sort of how this works, how it can be used. But I'm already using it now. So it's like in full use with my consultation, because although there's a part of me that enjoys research, but not really. I don't really enjoy research. I enjoy sitting with people. That's what I enjoy doing. I enjoy the consults. Okay.
Like the one-on-one research.
Oh, yes. That's what I really like. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do the research because it needs to be done. But the joy for me is sitting with a client and having their jaw drop as you begin to describe them like nobody else has ever described them. That's what I enjoy. And then being able to equip people so they can really embrace who they are in a fuller way. And they can be and stand strong in who they are. And know that a lot of the things you can say, for me as a good astrologer, what you're going to do is you're going to point out things that they kind of already know, but they weren't sure. Like they felt it, but they weren't sure about it. And when you say it, it gives them strength to, okay, I can go do this. This is true. It's what I felt, And so that's what really is exciting to me, is to have tools, and you want to be able to provide astrologers with tools that they can begin to use right away. And it's powerful and it's effective. That's for me what this book is about. It's about putting a tool in people's hands that they can go and begin to use. And it can equip them. These vibrations are all tied to the Myers-Briggs and to the big 5 personalities as well. So I've tried to get as many languages as I can, because so wherever you're coming from, whether you're coming from a personality profile in Myers-Briggs, again, or the Big Five, it will tie right into the vibration. And you'll be able to see that. And it should expand your understanding of the energy dynamic, because that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with an energy dynamic within a person and the different ways in which it can manifest. And then what you're doing there is you're needing language.
That is why we're having this conference to integrate vibrational astrology into another systems, which you can do. So what Chris is doing is proving it through his exploratory research, proving it that you can integrate it into other systems.
100%.
With all of our speakers, you will see we have speakers who are expertise in financial, Hellenistic, medieval, Vedic. VA is no longer an isolated system. It can get integrated into all of these systems, applied into those other systems.
Absolutely.
So I encourage everyone to come and attend. You will see how these are all going to be incorporated and linked together. And this is a unification of all astrological community and all these techniques as a whole together. So come to the conference. This is very, very powerful.
Yeah, no matter what your sort of astrological interest is, the beauty of the conference is there's going to be something that you can find that is going to help you. So, people, like I said, we're going to have a whole track of financial. If that's really what you're looking for, that will be there. If you're looking for psychological, that will be there. If you're looking for the mundane, that will be there. So there's all different tracks, and if it's something that, well, I'm already strong in this, so you might be interested in some of the other ones, learning. And to me, it's about learning tricks too. It's about learning, how do you do this? I want to know how to do it, and I want to know how to do it fast. Okay. I want to know, look at this, this, and this. These are 3 key points that you can look at to understand that. That's for me, because again, anyone can learn anything in astrology. It's just how much time are you willing to dedicate to it? And when you have a client and you're looking at a chart, okay, do you have 8 hours? Do you have 16 hours to look? Probably not. So it's like, how do I find the answers fast and effective? They have to work. They can't be like these like buckshots that you're bound to hit something. No, you want a dead shot, like exact. You want to be able to hit. This is what makes an astrologer effective, is you have to nail it. And so that's why we're bringing in all these different speakers who are really experts in their field. They're fantastic in their field. They know what they're talking about. And that's why they've really been ultimately selected. This person knows what they're talking about in this. This is their expertise. This is what they do.
And you will learn a lot more about VA, and then you will see, you will be able to apply it into those other systems.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And VA is a
not
part
isolated anymore.
Yeah. And it's a part of what it's what we tend to practice, but it's not the only thing I practice. There's other ones too. And you'll see that at least for myself, what I find is astrologers will practice different means, and we can learn from each other. And that's the idea of what convergence is we're coming together to learn from each other, to help each other. It's not about converting or saying, oh, this is the best astrology there is. No, everything has their own path, and it has their strengths and weaknesses. Everything does. Okay. That's the way astrology works. And so that's why if you can bring all the different types of astrology together, you get a much more rounded. It just depends on what you're doing.
This is it. Come to the Convergence 2020.
And then you get to speak. One of the joys of the conference that you don't get from a book or online is you get to actually talk to people.
Yes.
And you get to find out what is it you do, or how do you do this? And you meet other astrologers, you meet other people and their practices, and you can learn from that. Sometimes
we have
sometimes
the best
you learn
of
more.
the best in the field. Yeah, we have the best of the best in the field.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. One of the things I loved that one time we were in an Avalon School of Astrology meeting, and we had, of course, it's a board meeting, and Pam Gallagher is also a part of the meeting, and she has done astrology probably for longer than I've been alive. And she said something that has never left my mind. She said there's many different ways to research in astrology, which I love, because it opened up an idea of, I know that I've been trained in this one way, but in looking at astrology from different angles, it's not, just because I've been trained in this one way doesn't mean it's the only way. That's always true of anything. I mean, even if you're a physician, a medical doctor or something, there's not just one way to look at the body, so astrology is the same. So we're looking at it from different angles, and the people that we have coming to the conference are going to be, like Christopher had mentioned, they're going to be people that are experts in their field. So it'll be a really amazing experience to be able to learn from all of these people. And they're coming from all different places on Earth, a lot of people in different countries. I mean, meeting up to meet in person and to communicate and share their love of astrology. It's going to be amazing. It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
I took the TACC program from Avalon, which is the 4 years program, which you learn almost all technique in astrology. But then I gravitated in VA, and then I used VA into this technique, Vedic horror. I used the VA system into it. I was so surprised. It worked. So yeah, I'd like to share.
Yeah,
this.
you're getting the, it's a lot of, again, for the beginner, you're going to be so for the beginner, they're going to be able to get stuff. There'll actually be sessions that are set for beginners, people who are new to it, because astrology, there's a lot of language to astrology.
Yes.
So, and it can be confusing. I know, because that's in beginning, that's what you are. You think you understand certain things, and the more you get into it, you realize, oh my God, I don't know if I understand any of this. So that's the way things go. And then over time, you start to sort of marinate in it, and it becomes, it's learning the language. That's what it is. And so once you get, then it's a matter of fine tuning, then it's a matter of, okay, and you'll hear someone say something, and the way they say it and the way it's presented, it can open up a whole new understanding. You get a slight angle difference, and you're like, oh, I get it. And I find that, like, Fei and I were over in Seattle for NORWAC, that conference, and Rick Levine, I went to his session, and, there were some things that he said in that session, which just, it opens up a whole nother sort of like vein, something you've been thinking of, but the way he presented it, it clicked. And you don't always get that from a book. You don't always get that from a reading on a website. It's like when it was presented, and he said it in a way, and it's like, oh, it just clicked. And so I so appreciate that. And that's what, so for me, that's what I look for. I look for places I can go, people I can talk to that can open up my understanding. And add to it, And so
Rick will be giving a workshop, and he will be with us at the conference. And so is Dimitra George. She's extremely organized, and you will really learn from her materials. They're both giving a pre-conference workshop. It's very affordable. So come.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to hearing both of them. I know I can't be in two rooms at one time, but it will be great, because they're both amazing at what they do. So and they've had so much wisdom behind them. So it's exciting. Yeah. I was I was kind of bragging to some of my other friends that are astrologers and saying, oh, look what we're doing, and sharing. And those are two of the astrologers that they picked out was, oh, Dimitri is really good. And so is Rick. And I was like, yeah, I know. And then, it was going on. So it's kind of cool. I'm excited. It's kind of like a Disney World for astrologers.
Yeah. Christine Skinner, Ray Merriman.
Christine Skinner. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And everyone have great followers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be interested in going to some of the financial ones because I
Me
know
too.
very little about that.
Yeah,
That's-
same.
You
that is
love
not the way
Raven.
I don't typically look at. I mean, that's just not not what I'm really trained in. So
It's
Yeah,
it's
learn it and
work
then
it.
apply
So
VA into it. It
it'll
will be
be well.
powerful.
I'm sure it can. I don't know how, but because I just don't know enough about what they look at. But
Yeah,
when you get people who know what they're doing, again, it's something you can add. It's something I look forward to adding
yeah,
to my understanding. I mean, you can't know everything, but the other thing is it. You know, in our world today, community it's a difficult thing to have,
yeah,
and so one of the things that a live conference does is it begins to open up, the ability to have community, the ability to be able to talk and have people that you can go to and
yeah,
ask. So
yeah. Owner, yeah. Owner Do. I'm sorry to cut you off. Owner
yeah,
Dozier has thousands and thousands of followers, and
Mm,
he's going to give a workshop as well and a lecture. So it's your chance to meet him in person and ask him questions. He's very approachable. So all of these people who are doing the pre-conference workshop, you will really learn quite a bit from them
yeah,
in person.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to I mean every one of them I'm looking forward to
yeah,
hearing them and learning from them because
yeah,
everybody has this wisdom. If we counted all the years and of wisdom amongst us, we have hundreds of years, I'm sure. It just is
yeah.
that we
I mean,
all have been doing our craft in the way that we know it and focus on that and then sharing it in this way is beautiful. It really is. So it's
yeah,
exciting to
owner,
be able to do
yep.
that.
And
owner
I will
is
say too, knowing the venue's awesome.
oh yeah.
So the venue is attached to a mall that is enormous. Like you need your phone GPS to get around the mall. It's that big. There
That's
are
funny.
all kinds of restaurants and just like it's like you have your
Shopping
choice of anything to
playground.
go to and it's right there. You never even have to leave. So
Yeah,
the hotel's attached right to it. Again, the venue's beautiful. If people are flying in from other places, it's really close to Disney. So if you want to extend your stay, you can check out Disney. It's right
yeah.
there. Um,
Hey, we also
so,
have Delta as our
oh
airline
yes, yeah,
that gives
Delta,
us
yeah, is
discount
giving a
for those who are
discount to
flying
the
in.
conference as
So check
well.
that
So
out. It's our
yeah, it's
official
so a
sponsor.
person can make it a much larger vacation. I mean, it's actually close to, you've got NASA right there too, Cape Canaveral and
Yeah,
whatnot.
all
So
within
it's like,
driving distance.
I mean, it's Florida. Come on, you know.
Yeah, who doesn't want to be in Florida in the middle of winter? I mean,
That's right.
Pennsylvania, or just still
That's right.
winter. Yeah,
Oh, and it's really the weather's wonderful during that time of year.
March is our
yeah,
So
best
it
yeah,
is.
weather.
yeah, you got
It's
really
the
nice
best.
weather.
This spring. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is. It really is. It's exciting.
yeah,
So, Faye, I want to ask a couple more questions before we wrap up, but I'm
yeah.
curious. So you have such wisdom with astrology overall, and of course you're a specialist in vibrational astrology. I'm curious because I've been teaching VA. I just actually finished my first 10-week course on Saturday, so I'm excited about that. We'll start
Congratulations.
up. Thank you. I'll be starting up again next month. Well, actually in September, not August. So I'm curious though, what your ideas or things that you might suggest for people that are new to astrology, what they might be able to, how they might be able to start experiencing working with VA, as someone that has been in the field for a really long time. Do you have any wisdom that you'd like to share with new people?
Yes, what I can suggest is if you're just learning about astrology, it's best to start with vibrational astrology. But of course, you need to know the signs and everything, the basics. And then you will be able to get into this right away because you do not have anything to compare with yet. And then once you learn VA, and then you can apply it, integrate it to other systems. Um, I suggest to start with basic. Don't combine it all together. A lot of the
Right.
students are going into it's like going in a candy shop, collecting all each of the candy types and don't know where to begin to eat. So, what I suggest if you're just learning astrology and want to learn VA, start with VA. And then once you master the VA, it's very easy to integrate into other systems. Yeah.
That's great. That's
Start
great
with the book.
advice.
Start with the book, The Vibrational Astrology, The Essentials. Those
This is so
that
great.
book, yes, that book is a great book to begin with. It's like a dictionary. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And you have
agree. I
to have
think
the
that
software as well to learn
exactly.
astrology. You
There's,
have to invest in a software.
yeah, I think one of the things, that people kind of they're learning and they're new is that when we deal with vibrational astrology, it's a system, but it's not a system that is detached from astrology. So all
Yes.
astrologies are kind of they deal with the same kind of things. All right.
Yes.
So one of the things we have with VA is we tended to start with the planets and understanding the nature of the planets.
Yes.
Okay. And that is essential because what you're
Yes.
doing is you're basing everything from a planet and then the influences of the sign, which is the stars behind it, okay, where
The
it is, the
aspects.
houses, these all come and express the base energy of planets. But we start with planets. That's one of the
Right.
beauties of VA is you start with planets. You
Basic.
never leave a planet.
Totally basic.
Right.
Yes,
Yes.
where it's not about just learning what Pisces is. It's
Yes.
about
Right.
learning, okay, what is in? So what's Mars in Pisces as opposed to the Sun in Pisces as opposed
Yes.
to Mercury in Pisces? Okay,
Right.
so it's understanding the energy dynamic of the planet, and this is where VA starts, and it
Yeah.
moves from there. This
Yes.
is applicable to all systems.
Yes.
So you always have to learn the planets. So
Yes.
it's a matter of sort of how you're pacing, what you're starting with, and then moving out. This is some of the beauty in VA and the way it's presented. It's very clear that way. Otherwise, you can get so bombarded with so many different things. And there's a lot of students I know that just leave astrology because it's overload.
Yes.
But they were
Exactly.
not introduced to it in the proper order. It's like they'll start with, okay, what's the Lord of this and what's this? And it's like it gets
In the
I
way
house
too
started
and blah
from
blah
that.
blah.
confusing.
It
Yeah,
was
it gets
extremely
too much.
difficult.
You
I
have to
started.
start at the beginning.
I wish I
Yeah.
started with VA like Chris. I wish I started with VA.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like it makes it so that
Yeah.
once you're ready to take that next step,
Yeah.
you're ready. So you're
Yeah.
not relearning everything. You're not, you are
Right.
solid in what you are. And so
Applying it. Yes.
this is the way it's presented. This is the way I learned. So, and I will tell you this. I was in class and I had another guy, a friend that was also in another class. Okay, not in VA. He went to do something different. He quit because it
It's
just became too
too much.
much.
Too much.
Yeah, it was too overwhelming. And I was
Yeah.
like, too
Yeah.
overwhelming. Where Starlene knows we were in planets and then looking at combination of planets for the first 2 years. It was like, okay, you have Mars. Now what happens with Mars and Venus? Like, that's all we were doing.
Right.
That's all we were doing.
And that's the thing is the planets, and that's what I tell my students is the planets are the actual physical thing that we
Yes.
have to look at. So it makes
Yes.
sense. I mean,
Yeah.
from a logical perspective, and I tend to have that kind of logical
It's
mind.
the energy
That we-
system.
Yeah, we work with the planets, then we can talk about the zodiac and the houses and the vibrations, even
Yes.
for that matter. We
Yes.
want to understand how the
Exactly.
planets
It's
Yes.
very
interact with each other.
organized. It's
Yes.
Yes.
very beautiful to learn.
Yes, yes, I love it, and I think that helps the overwhelm to kind of curtail and not
It
to get
does.
you in that
It
space of
layers
overwhelm.
it because astrology can be overwhelming. But
Oh
when
Yeah.
my
you
God.
layer it,
Tell me about it.
it's a matter of it's like you have this whole big meal and you're trying to stuff everything all at once. You can't
Yeah.
even enjoy it.
I
Let's
was
eat
Right.
getting
this, then we'll eat that, and we'll go through a process.
I
And
was
that's
Right.
part
getting
of
a
the beauty
C.
of it.
I did not sleep in order to get an A. Well, I mean, oh my gosh, it was too much information overload. It's too much. So one thing at a time, start with VA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's so when she's saying start with VA, what you're dealing with is you're not dealing simply with vibrations. You're dealing with a system of learning and the
Yes.
process of learning.
Right.
That's
great
what's
point.
being talked about there.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's a layered system that then you can take, as I have done, and you can learn all these other systems. And I will tell you, it's way easier to learn the other systems once you have those basics down of understanding the planets, understanding the connections, understanding the signs in that way. But you already have a solid foundation. You can go and do whatever you want. And you will,
Yeah.
because they're
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
fun.
If that's exciting to you. I agree
Yeah.
totally.
When
And that's
I
a great
started,
point too.
yeah, when I
That,
started
you know,
working VA, that is when it became, whoa, it's like clarity. Everything I can merge together is was no longer confusing. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's what becomes, for me, that's what I see. Like, I have so many astrology books and all these things, and I can already look at it and say, people are confused. Like, and I know that. I
Yeah.
know a lot of people that are like interested in astrology, they get a book and then they give up because it's so confusing. All
Yeah.
right. And it's like picking up a Chinese book with all the Chinese. Yes, it's confusing. You don't know
Right.
what the things mean. So there is a way in which you can learn, and not to say that other ways are bad. Okay.
Yeah.
It's but there are some that are not. It's not that the astrology is bad, but the way kind of sometimes it's presented or the way it's compacted, it becomes
Right.
overwhelming,
Yeah. The
and
way
it
it's
just overwhelms a lot of
unpacked, right?
people.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Right. Right. And that goes to, that's a good point, because that's what I was thinking too. Of course, I want people to start with VA. That's where I started. Well, not where I started, but that's what my formal education is in. And I tend to lean in that direction. I teach VA, but I think what's even more important than that, if you're already like invested in a certain type of discipline and it's working for you, like understand that fully before you move on to something else, because I think that's important too.
Yes.
So if you're learning from someone like, I know Onur Dosher has a whole school in Serbia, and he does his own thing. Is it Serbia? It's Serbia, right?
Turkey.
Oh, Turkey. Okay, I was
Yeah.
mixing that up, but yeah. So I know he has a whole.
Yeah, he has a school too. Yeah.
Okay, right. That's right. I mixed the two places up, but
Yeah.
if you're learning with someone that knows what they're talking about, and learn their system first before exploring into other areas, because you won't get so confused that way, and that will help you to move forward.
It is also good to invest in astrology software. So contact Cosmic Patterns if we have so many astrology programs to choose from. If you're a student, let us know. We will give you a student discount. So come on over. We want you to learn astrology better, the best way, and start with a good software to begin with. I'm not trying to plot the software or Cosmic Patterns, but that is the process of learning astrology. You have to have the software to use, otherwise hand calculation. You cannot
exactly
with a hand calculation.
You do have to have a soft, like, there was a lot of people at the conference that I was at where they did not, and they were missing a lot of things. They could not do it.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of things that become like very crucial to do that people are not necessarily aware of, that you're going to be. Again, it's all about how effective you want to be as an astrologer. That's just what it's about. Can you do something just understanding a sun sign and the sun? Yes, you can. You can do something. It's just how effective do you want to be? So
that's a good point. And the thing is with the astrology software is, I've always thought this, and I found Kepler astrology software from Cosmic Patterns. I think it was 2006 or 2007, and then I didn't start school at Avalon until 2012. So once I got the software, I started working with it. It's so sophisticated. I just thought to myself, you know what? Just having the astrology software and be able to look up these calculations and understand what they mean, because I just got into my nerdy mode and just studied every night and all that. Makes you a better astrologer just from having the right tools. And that's what that is a tool for you. So you might not want to plug the software, but I'll tell you I'm your biggest fan because the software makes you a better astrologer. Just having the tools that, you know, like any profession, you know, you have a doctor, they have their tools and they understand things from a certain way. There's your psychologists have their tools. I mean, anybody has their tools. I mean, the lawn guy has his tools too. He has the lawnmower, right? He's not going to go out there with scissors. He's going to do it in the way that's the most efficient.
You need to invest on a computer as well.
Yes.
Keep your old cell phone. Don't buy a new cell phone. Keep it while it's working. Invest in a small computer.
I agree with that. I really agree with that.
You know, anybody can get a small computer now for like 150, 200 bucks. Like that's not going to be.
Yeah.
If you're going
to, that is 1 gigabyte or 500 megabytes. That is the good thing to begin with. If you need advice on what computer to get, by all means, send me an email. I will help you. You can even call me while you're at the store. I will help you. No charge.
That's wonderful. Yeah, you're so helpful, Fei.
Everyone is doing that. And I am happy to help. I love shopping with them on the phone.
That's always fun.
Yeah.
So this was great. I'm glad we got to talk about the conference. I hope we excited people about the conference and get them interested in learning some more, hopefully be able to attend to come to the conference. It will be really fun to have. I'm looking forward to experiencing communicating with everybody. I mean, we didn't get to do that this year, but communicating with everybody, getting to talk to people that speak your language, you know, that's something I really love and I value about in-person conferences as opposed to just, you know, online things. Of course, online things are great, but being able to do it in person and have conversations that, that's going to be wonderful.
Yeah. This is almost like the United Astrology Conference where everyone come together and get together and we hear from the experts. This is excellent. Come on, you guys. Attend with us. We'll be happy to see you. It will be exciting.
It definitely will. It definitely will. All right. So we'll go ahead and wrap up this episode. Thank you all for watching. Next week, we will have another episode that we will share with you. And we look forward to seeing you at the conference. Of course, all the links to all the things we mentioned are in the description box below. All right. So we'll see you on the next one.
See you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.